use the... I have to do
Okay.
all the work before I have to use my...
So, before we do anything new,
Do anything old.
do you have questions over anything I've given back to you, which was a whole bunch of random stuff?
I only got one thing.
Well, there you go.
I only got one something too. Technically speaking, I got more of this.
I don't even remember doing this.
Okay.
What?
I don't even remember doing this.
I was half dead and I still remember it.
I was half dead too.
It was so horrible.
No,
Sleep medicine.
okay, I remember that I was dying of coughs, so I had no oxygen in my head, and I thought I failed the quiz because I had no idea what I was doing.
I thought I felt it because I did it.
Okay, so since it seems like we don't have questions on old stuff, what lesson are we on?
4.6. 4.6.
All right.
Quadratic
I
formula.
thought it was dash. 4 dash. No, that's 4.6.
It depends on where you're looking.
I shall call 4.6.
The book calls it 4-6. I write 4.6 on some things and 4-6 on others. Because I like to be that way. It's so fun.
And I can also, I like
All right, we did what problems?
2 through 32.
2 through 32. Number 2. Bless you, I think. Okay, well, don't die. And if you do, just don't make a mess. Okay, number 2 is -4 plus or minus the square root of 11. Number 4 is -1 plus or minus the square root of 5 all over 3. Number 6 is 3/2 and 1/3, which means it could have been factored. Dang it. Okay. Number 8 is -3 plus or minus the square root of 14. Number 10a is 40. Number 10b is 2 irrational roots. Number 12a is 0, and 12b is 1 rational root. 14 is -5, -40. 16 is 2 plus or minus the square root of 10 all over 3. 18 is 11 plus or minus the square root of 301 all over 10. Number 20, the domain is between 0 and 2, both including, so that would be square brackets. And the range would be between 0 and 10, also both including, so again, square brackets. Number 20b is about 1.77 seconds. If you rounded differently, it's fine. It doesn't tell you where to round. Number 22a is 4. 22b is 2 rational. 22c is 1/2 and 1. 24a is 121. 24b is 2 rational. 24c is 1 and -5/6. Number 26 is -40, and it's 2 complex. And 26c is -2 plus or minus I times the square root of 10 all over 2. 28 is a is 0. 28b is 1 rational. 28c is 3. 30a is 176. 30b is 2 irrational. And 30c is 1 plus or minus the square root of 11 all over 4. We go through, where do we go through?
32.
32, okay. 32a is -56. 32b is 2 complex. And 32c is 2 plus or minus I times the square root of 14 all over 6. What questions do we have?
20.
32 and 20? Okay. We'll do 20 because it comes before 32, and then we'll do 32. 20. Competitors in the 10-meter platform diving competition jump up, excuse me, jump upward and outward before diving into a pool. The height of a diver in meters above the pool is t seconds, can be approximated by the equation h equals -4.9, which is, surprise, surprise, half of acceleration due to gravity if you're in physics. You're welcome. For good connections. Okay. Is anybody in physics in here? Or are they all in other classes? Yeah, there you go. You're welcome. Great. Okay, so plus t squared. Plus. Well, there you go. So cool.
Is that a plus or okay, that's a plus.
Which is physics and chemistry for people who don't know how to do math.
Okay.
Is that a T or yeah?
You have a book. You can read it. Okay. All right. So A is determine a domain and range for which the function makes sense. What's the independent variable in this situation? That was a real question. What is the independent variable in this situation? What? Did you say 10? Is 10 a variable? No. T, time. Time's almost always the independent variable. So the domain is on with time. So what domain makes sense? Can we have negative seconds? Is he going to start? Is this a time travel movie?
Yes.
No, this is not. This is a diving competition. So what would be the smallest time you're going to have? 0. And it would include 0 because he has a starting point, yeah? So 0. And then, we don't know about the other part. We're going to have to figure that out in a second. But let's start the range for a second.
Yes.
What would be the lowest point he could be? What's the range? The range is his height, right? That's a dependent variable. So what's the lowest point he could be? Is he going to start above or below the thing? He's going to start where he starts. What do we usually call the beginning when we're setting something?
Start.
In math, what do we call it?
Orange. That's 0.
In math. Yeah, thank you for saying something intelligent accidentally. Good job. We start at 0. He's going to start at the beginning. He's going to start at the flat, and then he's going to go. It doesn't say he starts up 50 feet. It doesn't say he starts up anywhere else. Or it doesn't say he starts in a hole. It doesn't. It gives us no information about that.
Like at negative something sea level, like below.
It doesn't give us any information about that. So the one that, and if it gave us information about that, then we would want to include that in our range. We don't know that. Well, we don't know the top part, and we don't know the how far part did he dive.
That's what we want to know.
That's what we want to know. So we got to do the math. So what math are we going to do?
We shove it in the formula.
We do. Shove it in the formula. This problem actually doesn't tell us how to solve it. We could use completing the square if you wanted to. But we'll stick with quadratic formula because that's what lesson this is. Okay, so what's quadratic formula?
X equals opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared
minus
4
4
times
times
a
a times
c
over 2a.
In your free time, you should go look up, crank that quadratic formula. It's quite fun. Crank that quadratic formula. You will never forget the quadratic formula in your life if you go spend a few minutes watching that a few times.
I was telling
Crank that quadratic formula.
and my mom thought I was just like making up random numbers and letters to say.
I was like, no, that's correct, actually. I was sad but true.
What's going to go right here? In here? What about this one?
Negative 4.9.
-4.9. What about this one?
10.
And -4.9.
It's too big of a number for me.
So -3 plus or minus the square root of 9 plus what? What's 4 times 4.9 times 10? It'd be 49 times 4. 160 plus 32, 192, tightening 6.
196.
That's what I just said. Y'all are so slow.
Wow.
Good grief.
Tied, actually.
I agree with that.
Y'all tied. I said it before you.
Yeah, you can't prove it now.
Would it be negative on your
Actually, no, there is.
No, because negative times negative.
It equals positive.
Yes.
I think right now you can't prove it. We have
Over negative 9.8.
Now,
Now you add 9 plus 196 to the square root.
Yep.
Sad person half one.
quack, quack, quack.
205 square root.
It's big broken.
You broke it. I didn't touch it. Why is it not plus or minus?
It is plus or minus.
That's a plus and minus?
You know, you are really obnoxious. Just frickin' read and use your brain. You are not obnoxious. I'm sorry. But sometimes the words that come out of your mouth are very
I thought
obnoxious.
it was an eye!
How does that look like an eye? What sort of weird eyes are you drawing?
I think you might just need glasses.
I think she's just so used to her bad handwriting that she doesn't understand.
Right? Doesn't understand my handwriting? Okay. So negative 3. What is the square root of 205?
Do you want the decimal?
I do. I don't want you to just tell me square root of 205.
14.32.
So you normally wouldn't do the decimal, right? You normally
Right.
simply
If it doesn't ask for the round if or whatever else, but if it's a word problem, we pretty much always want the decimal, right?
It's work.
Because this problem is a physics problem right here. It's what?
Is approximately 14.32.
That's what I've said.
You did? I did not
We
hear
already have it there.
Okay, so what's negative 3 plus 14.32 divided by negative 9.8?
11.317 divided by 9.8.
It's 11.32.
Divided by negative 9.8.
1.15.
It's going to be negative something.
Negative 1.
Oh, I didn't put the negative in there. Okay, yeah. Negative.
1.15. Okay, and then negative 3 minus 14.32 is negative 17.32 divided by negative 9.8.
Yes. I don't want to put that in the calculator.
1.7673.
Somebody else agree? Stop. Somebody else agree?
What did I do?
Stop.
So 1.7.
She agreed.
1.77. Okay.
Okay.
Which one of those doesn't make any sense?
The negative one.
Yeah. So he didn't go back in time. So this is the time that we're looking for, right?
I wanted it to go back in time though.
Let me see something. Let me read in
He's
here.
time traveling and his dialing.
So what they did in this problem is they rounded up to the nearest whole second to give a reasonable domain, which rounding up makes sense in here to kind of give, like when you are looking at a problem like this, what you're really looking at on what a reasonable domain is if I was to graph this on a graphing calculator or decimals or something, what would be the window size to where I could see the whole thing? So rounding up to the nearest whole number makes sense in this situation, which is why they did it. If you had put 0 to 1.77 on your answer and circled it, I would probably have counted that right. But rounding up to the nearest whole answer is just in this zone is where we're looking for, is what they're really asking for, right? Is what's reasonable there. So we need to figure out how to figure out the range part. How can we do that?
What is the range?
The range is the height, yeah? It's the right. So that's what domain and range always are, right? The domain is the set of all possible, or in this case, set of all reasonable independent variables. And probably yes, but let me get this sentence out. And then the range is the set of all dependent variables, right? So what can we do?
Put the 2 in.
Yeah, I'm gonna put 1.77 in because 2 is probably gonna push us too high. because it's probably not going to quite get there, right? So I'm going to put that one in there and see what we get. And then we might do the same thing and round up in a minute. But so I'm going to find h of 1.77. And you can leave, if you did this in your calculator, then you can leave that, everything that Landon just said, and then you can get a more exact answer in a minute, right? So you leave that in your calculator, and you can just shove it in there, right? Negative 4.9 times 1.77 squared plus 3 times 1.77 plus 10.
Then we just math it.
Then we just math it. So what's this times that?
Negative 8.67.
Somebody else agree? Negative 4.9 times 1.77 squared. You remember the squared? Yeah, I thought you might have forgot.
75.2.
Did you square that number or did you square this number and then multiply? Because I think you made two mistakes. Sorry. Negative 15.35.
I did too.
I just got it as well.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Yeah. And then what's 3 times 1.77?
4.31.
5.31.
5.31. Sorry, my brain said the wrong number.
Yeah.
It's okay. Plus 10.
Now, oh wait. It's like negative 0.2.
So it's
No,
5.4.
Negative 0.04.
How did you give? Oh wait, no,
No, you're right.
negative 0.04.
0.4.
Okay, what did we just figure out?
He jumped
It's
backwards.
negative, which is
Not really.
He jumped into the water.
Well, it's basically 0. It's what we just figured out, right?
yeah.
Right? That's what we just figured out. So,
It goes to 0.
Because he just goes.
so let's stop and think about what we just figured out. Because did you figure out what you thought you figured out? Let's see. Let's draw this picture. We have our little dude, and he's happy with streaming hair. Look at him, Fabio.
Classic dive.
And he is ready to dive into the thing. Look at those pointed toes.
All divers.
And he left from 0 meters, feet, something, who knows? Meters.
He just falls up.
Did he phase through the diving board?
I need to draw this little man on my paper.
He's important.
He's important to math.
And he dove, and then because the way objects move, he's going to make a nice parabolic motion. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's way further than 0 now. Does he swim back?
And we figured out actually, I was about to give you some things, but I want you to use your brains. That's a better plan, yeah? Then you learn better. This point right here is t equals 0 and h equals 0. This point right here is that. We've already established that. We've already also said the window size goes to 2 seconds on this graph, right? So we just did some numbers. What numbers did we actually figure out? We're turning this into a full-on physics problem. It always was, but we're like legit turning it into one.
But I'm not taking physics.
You are today. You're never taking physics? What's wrong with you?
Oh no, I am.
Just not to
I'm not
this.
taking
That's
physics
fine.
like this year.
You're good for next year. You'll be ready.
He went down
Displacement?
What is so we found 2 numbers on the board. Let me kind of give us some things to look at. We found this number. What's the units on this number?
Seconds.
Seconds. This is seconds. So this is which axis? This is the horizontal axis or the vertical axis?
Horizontal.
Well, kind of
Horizontal.
neither, sort of.
Those zeros.
That is 100% wrong. Like, couldn't be more wrong than what you just said. It is definitely one of the 2 axes.
Well, then it's the
It's the X.
Horizontal.
This is not an axis. This is this. This is this. This one is this one. The axis, what is the horizontal axis? Is it time or height? Time. Thank you.
I said that.
I know, but I had to get the whole room caught up. Okay, so that's time. Great. What is our vertical axis?
H.
H height, yeah?
Oh, okay.
This is,
It's how high you went.
It's because when he gets to the end, he's back to where he's.
there you go. Look at you. Look at you. So this point right there is at t equals 1.77 seconds, which would be, surprise, surprise, height of 0.
No points.
No, if we had this exact number, if we shoved this one in there and we had infinite precision, it would be spot on 0. That's why I made the point a minute ago that this was basically 0. Right? The only reason it's not exactly 0 is because we rounded. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Great. So that's what we did. So that's useful and all, but that doesn't tell us what the range should be. What do we actually need to find out?
Where's the top?
The vertex. True enough. All that's true. All that's true. We should find this height.
Oh crap, how do we find the vertex again?
I don't know.
Well, so on this problem, as it stands right now, there's 2 ways to do it. Those of you who have had IPC or physics, either one of you, really, at this point, you should be able to tell me something about acceleration due to gravity on Earth. What can you tell me about acceleration due to gravity on Earth?
I haven't taken either.
4.9.
Yeah, it's actually negative 9.8 meters per second squared, but that's not the part that I said. When is it negative 9.8 meters per second squared on Earth? It's a bit of a trick question. I'll give you a nice trick question. And
It's doing that.
what I'm looking for is always,
Oh.
always.
How is Malcolm the one that doesn't take physics?
Because it's kind of like, because of the way I walked out, and he was just listening to the context clues of what I was saying and instead of trying to remember physics.
Yeah.
Because I was giving it all away. That it's always that, which means that this is consistent, which means that when is this in relation to this? When is it?
Halfway.
Halfway. Absolutely halfway. So we could use the vertex formula, negative b over 2a, and then plug stuff back in. So we could do that. We could figure out the x part, plug it back in. That would be a way to do it. Or we could divide this by 2 and shove that in there. Either one will give us the answer. And they're both arguably about the same difficulty. So we need this 1.77 number back, and we need to push divide by 2, enter.
Can they look like an even Algebra number?
That's only because you didn't push the first one in your calculator.
8.85.
Well, we're putting 1.77 in for.
It would be best if we put like this with the nice roundy thing, so we're not rounding sooner, but if all you have is the 1.77, it'll be close enough, especially since this problem, because we're probably just going to round up anyway.
8.85. That's what I got.
So it's about 0.885.
I forgot to say 0.
So let's find the height at 0.885.
Can you just say 0.885?
No,
Yeah.
because that's stupid.
Same thing.
No, it's not. Yours is dumb. Not because of you. Not because you said it, but because it's dumb.
No, it's not fun.
It is,
Yeah, that's better.
but it's more confusing,
But it's less.
especially when written. And here's the deal, folks. Y'all are not going to fall into this trap because you're not lazy, right? In Algebra 2, if you write this as your answer, I will count that wrong. Because that is stupid. It's lazy, it's ugly, and it's confusing if your handwriting's bad. And I've seen all of your handwriting, and with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, it's bad. So,
It's not that bad.
add the 0. It's not difficult.
But it doesn't look
You're just arguing to argue.
I like
Facts!
I like to argue.
3.88 is both mushed together. It's 0.783225. Oh, yeah, oh wait, we're not, never mind.
If I try, my handwriting's nice though.
What am I doing?
I don't know.
You know, I have to make 70 bookmarks.
That would be 4.3.
So what's negative 4 times 0.885 squared?
3.8378.
Somebody else agree?
Zero.
Negative 3.87.
Yes.
And then what's 3 times 0.885?
2.65.
And then what's all that added up?
8.83.
8.83. So the book says 0 to 10.
Wait, I have a different answer. Wait, no, my answer's wrong. I had 16 as my answer. Wait.
You accidentally didn't do this negative.
Oh, stupid negative.
Okay, so the book says 0 to 10. That's not an unreasonable answer. You could put 0 to 10. You could put 0 to 9. Any of that would make sense. 0 to 8.83. You would want, on this one, especially because we rounded and then rounded and then rounded, right? You would definitely want to round up at least a bit, right? Because there's definitely some margin for error. So at least 9 on this one, right? 10, they put 10, which is also totally reasonable. Just a little bit above, so you can, again, when we're talking about a reasonable domain on this type of problem, how big does the window need to be to see the information we need? That's what we're really asking, right?
Pretty big.
Which is going to help you if you do pre-cal or even college algebra and whatever, or physics or whatever else. But I hope that some of you will do pre-cal because pre-cal is fun.
When will the diver hit the water?
Quit whining, stop it.
What? Is it 7 whatever?
B is we have the answer on the board.
Yes.
What? It's which one?
It was the negative 8.83.
No.
No. Wait.
When will he hit the water again?
Oh.
1.77 seconds.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was fun. I enjoyed that problem. It was great.
I like it too.
I like physics. I wish Rochelle would let me teach physics. It's fun. If I was teaching physics, it would be less scattered than this problem most of the time.
Most of the time.
Because we would have a plan to go in to teach the physics, and it would be great. And we would do nice experiments like throwing balls at your head.
I love throwing
Other
balls.
problems now?
We can if we need to do other problems. What other problems you need?
I want to do more physics. problems.
16?
16.
We should cancel.
There was something else that you asked for earlier. 32? Yeah, let's do 32 next.
We should cancel algebra and do physics instead.
No.
It's more fun.
Who knows what direction my life will take? I may end up at some point going all virtual. I've been debating about that for a while. There's a lot of advantages to it.
And I'll still
You can,
I'll
I
probably
remember
do
that.
online classes.
but not with me.
I remember he used to get so mad at me whenever.
But you've never done it with me.
Last time I did an online class.
We should do online classes.
If I did all virtual, it would be all cameras on, and it would probably be. And actually, the way I would really like to do virtual, I've had this idea for a while. I like it a lot. It would require a little bit of initial investment on my end, but it's solid. It's a solid idea, and that would be where people rent document cameras.
Document.
Yes, and then so that we can see your work and what you're writing and all the things. It's a brilliant idea.
Did you guys ever get your birds?
I remember you
What?
guys loved
Were you
it.
guys able to get the birds?
We were able to get the birds. We're actually we're working on training them to get calm enough to bring them somewhere else right now. Are they hybrid? No.
They just swear too much.
They are frightened, although less so. They are doing well, very well. And we have decided that we want more facilities to be able to do right by them. And God has provided a nice pathway to bring them to someone else. And so we're working with them to do that right now.
Cool.
Yeah. We are not done with birds. In fact, I feel like it's only starting.
I like birds.
And I want to save all the birds now. And mostly because I've realized that people are awful.
That is
There's
true.
lots of awful people in the bird world.
There's lots of
Lots.
people, period.
There are. And as far as pets are concerned, I think birds may be some of the number one out there. And I think it's partially because birds are hard and they're expensive when they're whatever.
They
They're
live
expensive.
almost forever.
They do.
Well, some of them.
They know more than you know.
32.
Judging
32. My aunt and uncle have a raven.
Really?
Or
Ravens.
Not a raven. It's a crow. No,
Crow.
Crap.
That's
I
pretty
can't
cool.
remember what it was.
One of the,
It's a bird.
One
What
of
is
the
it?
big blackouts.
I can't remember what that family is called, but those are awesome. I would love to have they're super cool. They're difficult to have because they are so smart
They are so smart.
that it's difficult to keep a raven and keep it from escaping because they can like if I had a raven in the cage that I have these parrots in right now, in a couple days it would be out. It would be gone. It would have escaped
I
that
don't think
cage.
it's a raven. I can't remember.
Well, crows are the same, are basically just as smart.
I don't think it's a crow
Yeah.
either.
They're
It's a
cool.
bird.
I would only do a bird like that wasn't raised in captivity if it was like a rescue situation, like
They're
whatever else. Yeah. Which there are plenty of safe ones, but
I mean, I would like.
I'll ask him and I'll get back to you on what.
okay. Ravens and crows I would love to work with them, which would be awesome.
They're surprisingly good at tic-tac-toe. I saw a video the other day, like, they whoop some
They're
people at tic-tac-toe.
they are amazingly brilliant. They're such cool animals. They're really, really cool. Yeah.
I used to leave my marbles in the backyard. I would play them.
Uh-huh. And the ravens would steal them?
Yeah,
Or crows?
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep. That's why you're so crazy. Okay. We are supposed to find the value of the discriminant. So,
Yeah.
what should we do?
We should plug it into the discriminant,
I
which
think
is
you should make it into a normal
b squared.
Standard form is the words you're looking for. Yeah? I agree. So, what should we do first?
Oh yeah, that's right. It's not a
Subtract
standard form.
for
Oops.
x.
And also subtract the 8. Okay,
All
we got
reasonable.
Negative 6x squared plus 4x minus 3.
Equals 0.
I had a negative 6x squared, so I wouldn't have a negative in the denominator, which makes things a little.
Oh, you divided by negative or something?
No, I in the first.
Oh, you
step,
moved
I-
it all over there, and that's fine. That's fine.
Then should we shove it into the formula?
Yeah,
Yes.
but what
Well,
formula?
The square root of
All we need is the square root bit, right? All we're looking for is the discriminant, yeah?
b
So b squared
squared
Minus
minus 4 times negative 6 times negative 3.
what's 4 squared?
16.
And then negative 4 times negative 6 times negative 3 is negative something.
Wait, why do we need the square root part?
Because we're finding the discriminant, and that's what it is.
72. Negative 72. I did it in my head.
Good for you.
What is 16 minus 72?
A negative.
Negative
It is a negative number, which is something which tells us something. So the fact that the discriminant was a negative number tells us what?
Two complex roots. Or
Two complex roots. So find the value of the discriminant. So A is right there. I should say
B is two complex roots.
32A. And 32B, we can also get straight from there, and it is 2 complex
For me.
roots. 32C, we got to do more math.
we gotta do the equation.
We got to do the whole schmagoigle.
Whole shebang.
So we've got to do negative B, which is 4 plus or minus the square root of negative 56. We already did that math. Don't redo things. 2 times negative 6.
Square root of 56. Negative 6.
Negative 12.
Oh wait, negative 56 kind of like an I number.
So yeah, what's the fact that it's a negative in the square root tell us? Now,
It's gonna have I.
it's going to have I. Then we need to reduce, if possible, this square root. Are there any perfect squares that go into 56?
2.
Yeah.
2 is not a perfect square.
4.
4 does, absolutely. What's 56 divided by 4?
14.
Negative 12. That's a 16 for some reason. See, this is why your obnoxious words come out, because I accidentally do write stupid stuff sometimes. Now what?
We.
Do it by 4, and then it can be 1, 1.
2 squared.
No, that won't work. It's a 14 out of 4.
2i times the square root.
How about I do this first?
5 by 2.
Where'd you do that?
Because the
Square root of 4. That's 2.
What about the
Where's
I?
the I goes?
Oh, thank you. I forgot to
Don't
write
forget
things.
Mr. I.
And now you're right. Divide by 2 sounds like a grand plan.
Be 2, 1, 7, 6. Negative 6.
Plus or minus I times the square root of 14 over negative 6.
What time you sleep last night?
You could, and the book does, you could divide by negative 2 and do that, and it would also be right.
How can two
Yay.
answers be right?
That's exactly.
Because math.
That's exactly.
And I actually mean it. It wasn't just your joke. Because math. Because a negative divided by a negative is positive.
So that's C.
So the book probably would argue that this is the more reduced answer. But because of the plus or minus, the 2 negatives, it's either way.
Now
That's the answer I got. There's no.
You said 16? The one after 17?
Yeah, I
Yeah. Wait, what?
Wait, no, that's wrong.
There's something wrong with that. Can't quite put my finger on it.
I can.
Can you?
put it on.
It's not.
So can I.
Minus 4x plus 8 minus 8 equals negative. Equals negative 6.
Okay. Now what?
Move the 6 over.
Sounds good. Hello? Come in.
Bing bong.
I'm surprised you don't have Christmas music quietly playing in the background of class.
You should.
I like Christmas music.
Yeah, I like this music.
Whether it's too early or not, it's pretty fun.
I listened to Christmas music last, like, May.
What's gonna go here?
Negative 4.
Yeah.
Meaning it'll be positive.
I know, I was so happy
Ka-chink, ka-chink. What's negative, excuse me, what is negative 4 squared?
16. Positive 16.
Negative 4 times 3 times negative 2 is what?
Positive
12, negative 24, no, 24.
24. Wow. I'm so good at this. I'm so proud
I
of
did
you.
it in my picture.
Well, you didn't shout the answer out.
Izzy
but
went
not
to your
the
frugal
so-
too.
What's 16 plus 24?
40.
Yep.
Why did that take you so long?
Are there any perfect squares that go into 40?
4 times 10.
That's a little funny case if you look at it.
Two,
210.
2.
Can it be reduced?
Yes.
By 2. So the final answer is 2 plus or minus square root of 10 over 3.
Why did I say 4?
I don't know,
Me neither.
because you accidentally subtracted.
I just thought of the wrong number. Because, you know, that makes sense.
Okay, we should take a quiz. I like that idea.
Quizzes.
Lizzie, I need your help.
This is totally quizzical. I don't know. I'm just saying things.
No one likes it. Put it down, Izzy. You told me you brought quiet fidget toys. You lied to me.
Oh, well, this isn't a fidget toy. I just found it. It's left over from, it was shoved in our car. And then, coming to BYU, you didn't go.
Yesterday was 11/11.
It's true.
Crazy.
But not 11, 11, 11.
Wait, what? Why are we taking it for
11,
3?
11, what happened?
Are we taking one for a past thing we did? I thought we were-
It's the third quiz we've taken.
Yes.
That's
I went back to old numbering. I like to keep things interesting. That's great. We love it.
So wait, is that
You never know.
That's how you work with birds. You be consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
wow.
Dogs need consistency. My dog gets confused.
Birds do too, but you can't do things exactly the same order because they remember. And if you change it up a little, if you do it very consistent for a period of time and then you change it up a little bit on them, they get mad.
Well,
So,
like,
Really?
yeah.
Nova gets mad at me if I don't go upstairs in the mornings and put her in my room before.
The biggest difference between birds and dogs is dogs are fully domesticated.
Yeah.
Birds are not.
Nova needs her consistency.
They can be tamed, but they are not fully domesticated.
Their bird is a starling.
Right? Because
Ah. Sounds pretty.
I take Nova downstairs and let her outside.
So a small crow.
Yeah.
Kind of.
The Weedle crow.
If I got a
They
crow.
just stuck together. Oh, wait, no, just down.
Frank Capra, which was a director, great director, owned a crow, and he had the crow in a lot of his movies, or a raven. I don't remember what one of the two.
European starling. Okay.
Nice.
It's evolving into.
So it's a fancy starling.
How about
Does it squawk when it comes?
this is squawk with an X? They do. Sometimes there's one that I see on Instagram sometimes that talks with a British accent because it lives in England.